Oh my, can you believe it? We are about to finish this monster of an iceberg. One last time we ride into battle.
And I hope that there are many battles to come.
You may be right. And I think I've got something cooking.
And what would that be? Did you find another iceberg?
Oh, no way. I think I'm done with icebergs for now. No, I was thinking about something more civil. You know, a fireplace, a good glass of wine, and fine people getting together to... I shouldn't spoil too much.
Well, all of that sounds relaxing, but for now, we have to get ready for the deepest abyss of the colossal chunk of ice floating in the ocean of Martana.
You're right, as always. Alright everyone, we welcome you one last time on our journey to the depths of the colony. We started off high in the skies under the barrier, and now we have come to almost absolute darkness. Ore seams are glowing blue and red down here, and the rattling of bones and other unsettling noises echo in these gigantic halls. We have come a long way, but finally we arrive deep below the Valley of Mines, in the halls of the Temple of the Sleeper. Without any further delay, let's go for it. Varant map in Wakfu. So, there is an anime series called Wakfu, I hope I pronounced that right, made in France, which first aired on the 30th October 2008. It is about a boy named Hugo and his friends, and he's got magic abilities, and they want to uncover his past and to find his family. In Season 1, Episode 13, called Calm Blue Sea, upon the friends entering some type of ghost ship, you can see the map of Varant in a frame as seen here. What the connection between the series and Gothic 3 is, I couldn't find out. Maybe someone was a fan of Gothic and wanted to pay respect to the best part of the franchise. What a sick joke.
Mateo equals Gomez. This is another fan theory that says that Mateo, one of the merchants in Corinus, and the former ore baron are one and the same person. Yes, they do have a very similar face, but the logical answer is that Paranabais was just reusing assets, Occam's razor and all that. But what if Gomez, heavily wounded, crawled out of the Valley of Mines and used his treasures to start a new life across the mountains? What if he paid the guards handsomely, opened a shop in the harbor town, and even got an apprentice to cover up his bloody past? Yeah, that just might be the imaginations of a man who drank too much rice schnapps and connected the wrong dots in the drunken stupor.
Milton in Xardus' sunken tower. In the last episode, we talked about the Gothic Christmas edition. In that demo, Milton can be found in Xardas' sunken tower. Apparently, he was searching for an item, and somehow a lurker was involved. Thanks to Alpha Researcher, we have some material to look at. By the way, I cannot stress enough how informative his channel is. Leave that brother a sub and a like for his gorgeous work. Take a look yourself.
Original pitch document. This might refer to the pitch that was released when the project was still known as Phoenix. Here's an excerpt from that pitch. You are thrown into the prison. the kingdom is at war with northern hordes. In these times, criminals are thrown into the prison mine colony to provide the royal army with its most urgent need, iron ore. The precious ore is delivered to the outside world in exchange for food, medicine, and some small luxuries. But only the mightiest among the prisoners have the privilege to distribute these goods among the others, while the weak ones are driven into the mines to get their measly share. The convicts run the mines by themselves. The guards were no longer needed. The king's master mages put up psychic barrier around the prison colony to prevent every sane being from escape. They better not. Something has intervened with the fragile web of magic. Something that lies below the prison, below the mines, even below the natural caves, in an unknown ancient temple unchanged for 1,000 years. Something yet sleeping soon will awaken. And an evil grin, unseen by living eyes, shows the knowledge that human prey on the surface won't escape.
Year 212 Death Oddity. If you stroll through Corinus, you come across several graveyards. The one near Sakop's farm, overrun with goblin and lesser skeletons, is pretty much normal. The one behind Ona's farm, right around the crypt, is filled with references to the developers, and some inside jokes are etched into the tombstones. However, the most interesting cemetery is the one near the tavern. While the graves seem to be pretty inconspicuous, even though some are very grim, for example Midos, who died tragically at the age of 3, those in the cave nearby are very interesting. The vault in the back seems to be the final resting place of paladins, because you will find their swords lying on their sarcophagi. But the graves in the first cave, where the goblin skeletons are hanging out, is what this mystery is about. Every single one of those 6 people died in the year 212. Noteworthy is the fact that those weren't just regular people. These are the graves of nobles and potentially their guards. Here lie Count Lazar of Siegburg, Count Anib of Waldfried, Baron Simbus of Kar, the sword fighters Asup and Dietmar Ukara, and the honor guard Uthar Saranis. There is no indication to what happened to them, so we can only speculate. Maybe these nobles and their guardians perished at the hands of bandits while traveling. Maybe they were in the way of other powerful politicians or other nobles and got assassinated. Maybe they were part of a sacrificial ritual. Fact is that all of them died in the year 212. Interestingly enough, all of them, except one, died in a reasonably old age, the average being 74 years old. The oldest of them was the sword fighter Dietmar Ukara, with 100 years old. The youngest is honor guard Uthar Saranis at just 34. Another interesting thing about all the graves that you can find on Corinus is that one last name is very prominent, Ukara. There is Asup, Dietmar, Marta, Wilfried, and Serrano. Another family that existed is Soren, but you can only find 2 graves, the ones of Victimo and Oscar. So what do we take away from this? Well, something horrible happened in the year of 212, and it only affected noblemen and warriors, since no other tombstones mentions that specific date.
Sleeper's Master Plan. This one is quite a mystery. Vertigo couldn't find any hard facts about this one, so we can only speculate. Maybe it was the Sleeper's master plan to be banished by the nameless hero, so the barrier would vanish and the ore would have been accessible by Beliar. You see, in Gothic II, you can find an almanac written by Xardas in the vaults of the monastery, and it says, I quote, "I hope that the barrier can protect the ore from Beliar's grasp." Since the Sleeper was only banned from Morgrat, it might have been his intention to be summoned later on by the followers of Beliar, but again, there are no hard facts to support this.
Dreisat Map. The German TV channel Drat once had a report about piranha bytes and the development of Gothic II. In it, you can see an early map of the game. A lot of names are just placeholder, like Erzmine, which means just ore mine. Other places are called Bridge City, Mountain City, Two Bridges, Even Lake, and Chop City, like in chopping wood. Some names like Braga, however, existed already. Deep in the west of the desert, you can read Tal des Todes, which is basically Valley of Death or Death Valley, which is a real place at the border of Nevada and California. Another funny name is Erzgebirge, which is translated to Ore Mountains, another real mountain range that is near the Czech and German border, but I digress. Take a look yourself, the map can be seen very briefly. I leave a link down in the description so you can experience some peak German TV.
Xardas went blind from brewing loose double hammer, inhaling its fumes. This is basically the core of the Gothic franchise. Back in the day, Xardas was a hobby distiller and tried his luck on a recipe made by Lou, who lived in the swamps of Jarkandar before he got eaten by swamp sharks. The schnapps was so strong that the fumes made him blind. Enraged by losing his eyesight, he devoted his life to the dark studies and contacted Beliar, who then called the Sleeper to sow chaos in the mortal realms, only to revenge on the mortals who blinded him so badly. Yeah, how did you like my fanfiction?
Jawood knew too much. I don't know what this is about. I doubt that they knew anything beside their greed and motivation to release unfinished games, but on a serious note, I don't have a clue about this one. Gothic did pretty well, even though Jawood gave them a hard time, but if you have any additions, as usual, please share them with us.
Gothic and Demon Souls in Elex 2. Somewhere around the starting area in Elex 2, you can find a small hideout with a mattress and 2 magazines or comics on the ground. One looks like an awful lot like the Gothic, and the other like the Dark Souls cover art. Even though this entry says Demon Souls, the one shown in the game looks definitely more like Dark Souls.
Nameless Hero's personality in Forsaken Gods was caused by archdemon possession. This basically happens in the plot in Arcania, a non-canonical spin-off of the series. Since I haven't played it, its details are not known to me. The demon possesses the King Roba III, the Nameless Hero, after he is given the Amulet of the Sleeper. When the king wanted to bring peace to the realm, the demon took control. Maybe the demon was already hiding deep inside the hero's mind when he was still on Mutana, doing the Forsaken Gods thing.
Gothic II is about Y2K. Y2K was a type of digital superstition in the 90s that computers couldn't handle the change of the millennia and formatting, just as calendar data wouldn't be messed up in the process. In the months leading up to 2000, more and more people bought into the Y2K scare and thought this was some type of computer-related apocalypse. The basic problem was that by displaying the year, most machines only had to change the last 2 digits, like from the 1980s up to 1999. Now, I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff, and I was just a wee boy back then, but somehow the notion that computers wouldn't be capable of displaying 4 digits was a thing back then. I don't remember anything ever coming out of this doomsday conspiracy. Everything went back to normal the next day. Yet, I fail to see how this event is related to Gothic. I mean, you could say both games are about a great doom that comes over the land, destroying life as we know it in the process, but this is just too vague in my opinion.
Undead Dragon Anti-Piracy line. So, I haven't experienced this one myself, because I bought the games, but apparently there was a small interaction between the last boss and the hero in Gothic 2 if you pirated the game. The dragon says, "Well boy, do you have the original version too?" This interaction also happens sometimes when playing with modifications. Here is the line in German.
Na, mein Kleiner, hast du denn auch eine Originalversion?
So, and that's it. What a journey. It was quite excruciating, but I learned a lot. What about you?
I can only agree. There are still so many mysteries out there, but it was quite nice to uncover so many hidden facts about the Gothic series.
Oh, for sure. At the beginning I thought to myself, hey, you know the game pretty well, that will be easy. But in the end I have to conclude that I knew nothing.
Me neither. It's just amazing how many hidden messages can developers hide in a game just for fans to uncover or at least speculate. Anyway, I know we had a good time, for the most part. I mean, at least every now and then.
Slivers, I thank you so much for joining me.
And thank you for having me.
And of course, I also want to thank all the people out there who joined us. We hope you guys learned something and had some entertainment. We wish you a good one, and I will see you in the next video. So, about that thing.
Yeah, when do you want to start that?
Well, soon enough. I've already talked to some people who would join us.
Ah, I see. You're spreading the word, huh?
All I wanted was to bring the Gothic communities together, and that would definitely be an opportunity.
Yeah, there has been plenty of rumors already. Faint whispers in the west and the east. People are spreading the word about a mysterious communion of sorts.
They need to know, Slivers. It has been such a long time, and many of them are still asleep. Too many are still bound to their local communities, but it is time to rise up and unite them. We shall chime in a new age for those willing to follow, and all the others shall awaken.